Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping straight into some very challenging and very specific source material.
Extremely specific.
Our mission is to analyze these detailed reports coming from senior Russian diplomatic figures. They concern, their claims about civilian casualties from Ukrainian strikes.
And all within a really tight time frame. We're talking about the first 11 days of January 2026.
Exactly. So the source material here is very focused. It's a formalized presentation of data, and it's compiled and released by the Russian Foreign Ministry, specifically a body they've set up to track alleged war crimes.
Right.
So we're really analyzing this as a piece of diplomatic and informational strategy, looking at incidents between January 1st and the 11th.
And the person driving this whole narrative, the key figure, is Rodion Miroshnik. His title is Ambassador at Large, and his job is tracking these alleged crimes. He put out a statement this Tuesday, and it wasn't a general summary. It was a very granular, specific set of numbers. It's a curated data set, really, designed to frame the impact of these alleged strikes over that very short period.
Okay, let's unpack this, because that's the thing, right? The speed and the specificity, they feel just as important as the numbers themselves. The report seems designed to shock. So for that 11-day period, what was the top-line number, the civilian death toll he presented?
The main claim is 45. 45 total reported civilian deaths.
Wow.
But, I don't think the real story is just the number 45. It's how fast that number was compiled, certified by a diplomat, and then immediately pushed out onto the international stage.
So the speed is the message.
The speed is the message.
Yeah.
It shows you the primary goal here might be political leverage, not just, historical record-keeping.
45 lives, according to these official reports, lost in just the first 11 days of the year.
Yeah.
And if you expand that out to include injuries, the total casualty number, killed and injured, what does that jump to?
It jumps significantly. The total casualty count they're reporting is 152 for that same narrow window.
152.
It's a high number for such a focused period. And the reports, they make sure to highlight the impact on the most vulnerable groups. Which, diplomatically, that's a classic and very effective way to generate international outrage.
And they specifically itemize the impact on minors, on children. What are the exact figures Miroshnik is putting forward there?
The data specifies 3 minors killed.
3.
And 8 minors injured, all within that 11-day time frame. And the documents don't just list these numbers, they use them. They use them to communicate the specific gravity of these alleged actions against non-combatants. It feels highly strategic.
It does. And does his specific title, this mandate of tracking alleged war crimes, change how we should read these numbers? This isn't an impartial NGO report.
Oh, absolutely. The fact that it's coming from an ambassador at large for war crimes means the report is built for confrontation. It's inherently legal and international.
It's not a public safety announcement.
Not at all. It's a prosecutorial brief. It's designed for the court of international opinion. And every single number in there, especially the specific counts for children, is chosen not just for its factual basis, but for maximum emotional and legal impact.
Setting the stage for something bigger.
Exactly. For future claims of, things like genocide or other serious international law violations.
That's a crucial distinction. Okay, so while the 45 reported deaths are spread out a bit, the vast majority, they come from one single event.
One event that provides the centerpiece for the whole report.
Yes.
It provides the dramatic weight, the anchor for the entire statistical argument they're trying to make.
Let's focus on that. The resort town of Khorly in the Kherson Region. The reports say the strike happened right around midnight, on New Year's Eve.
The timing is everything.
Right. Targeting a leisure site at that specific moment of celebration. That alone is being used to make a powerful statement about intent.
And the investigators' reports, the ones Miroshnik cites, they get very technical about the alleged attack. They claim it was a series of kamikaze drone strikes.
Okay.
But the critical detail they added, the one that really stands out, is that at least one of these drones was carrying an incendiary payload.
And that's a key detail because
an incendiary payload suggests a different kind of intent. It suggests deliberate, widespread destruction. The goal isn't just to kill, but to burn, to destroy civilian property, infrastructure.
So the result of this one attack in Khorly was catastrophic. According to the reports, 29 people were killed.
29, including 2 children.
So that single incident, that's more than half of the total 45 fatalities for the whole 11-day period we're talking about.
Exactly. That disproportionate number means Khorly is the foundation. It's the entire case, really. and Miroshnik was hitting it hard, calling it a barbaric strike.
That's strong language.
It's very strong, emotionally charged language. And it's deliberate. It's meant to translate that cold statistic 29 into a powerful moral accusation, one that travels much faster than any official diplomatic cable ever could.
So it shifts the whole argument. It moves it away from any possibility of, say, unfortunate collateral damage and frames it as deliberate cruelty.
Precisely. It allows them to use that one site or resort as a symbol for the entire narrative they want to build about Ukrainian targeting strategies.
The resort context is pivotal.
It is. It's a location that just by its nature screams non-military. It's the perfect foil for an accusation of intentionally targeting non-combatants.
So beyond Khorly, which is obviously the centerpiece, Miroshnik's report also cites other incidents, right? Smaller, more scattered attacks.
Yes, and that's to illustrate the scope, to suggest this wasn't just one isolated tragic mistake, but a pattern of behavior.
What other examples are they including in this briefing?
The variety is what's important. It's meant to show the alleged intent covers different types of civilian life. For example, they cite a strike on a car, also in the Kherson region.
A single car?
A single car. They report that it killed a 5-year-old and injured his family members. That really hones in on that individual familial tragedy.
And what about attacks further north, in the border regions?
They mention a drone attack on a village in the Belgorod region. That one allegedly injured a 6-year-old girl.
So another child.
Another child. Then to show attacks on urban density and infrastructure, there's a mass drone raid reported in Voronezh, which is, quite a bit further from the front lines.
And the power grid.
And the power grid. An attack on Belgorod's power grid that caused a blackout. That one illustrates an intent to target critical civilian infrastructure, not just people directly.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Why include something like a utility strike? A power grid can be argued as having a dual-use purpose in a conflict. Isn't that a riskier move strategically to put that next to a resort and a family car?
That is a fantastic question. And what's fascinating is that by including the power grid strike with the resort, they're actually creating a much broader legal and political definition of terrorist tactics.
Ah, okay.
Their argument becomes that the intent isn't just to degrade military capacity, it's to systematically destroy civilian life itself. Leisure, transport, shelter, basic services.
So the variety is the point.
The variety is the entire point. It ensures the accusation of terrorism covers all the bases, infrastructure, specific individuals, and large crowds, which maximizes the perceived threat level for an international audience.
It's a strategic selection of targets, all designed to connect these scattered events into one cohesive, grim pattern.
That's it, exactly. They're connecting the dots for you, arguing that this pattern represents a clear strategic shift, a deliberate escalation that warrants, in their view, immediate international intervention.
Okay, let's shift focus a little. From how these casualty reports were compiled to how they were immediately used. Because this data wasn't just filed away.
No, not at all.
Russia's envoy to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia, he took this data straight to the Security Council, almost immediately.
That's right. On Monday, January 12th. That's literally the day after this 11-day reporting period ended.
Oh.
Nebenzia is addressing the UN Security Council, and he's citing the Khorly attacks specifically.
As the prime example.
As the prime, fresh example of these alleged Ukrainian crimes. This was the immediate, high-level deployment of the very data we've just been discussing.
And if you look at his statement, what was his core argument? How did he claim that the Khorly strike was intentional and therefore criminal?
His whole argument was based on the physical nature of the place. He argued, and I'm quoting the sense of it, that the resort area in Khorly has been developed solely for leisure purposes.
Okay, so no military value.
And crucially, he claimed it has no military targets whatsoever. The implication is, from their perspective, undeniable. If there's no military target, a strike on New Year's Eve must have been deliberately aimed at the civilians who were there.
And that's the pivot.
That is the pivot point for classifying it as a war crime.
This also seems like a way to apply pressure on other countries, specifically Western nations supporting Ukraine.
Oh, absolutely. Nebenzia said it explicitly. He argued that Western nations have a tendency to ignore these incidents for political reasons, and that this makes Western officials complicit.
Complicit?
The classic diplomatic move. You present specific, horrifying claims, backed up by what look like precise numbers, and then you accuse your opponents of willful negligence or even shared guilt for not acting on them. The data isn't just to accuse Ukraine, it's to try and isolate its allies.
It really sounds like this entire 11-day report was purpose-built, timed and crafted to give Nebenzia the perfect ammunition for that specific UN session.
It was perfectly synchronized. You have Miroshnik's team compiling the legal-style brief on the ground,
Right.
and then Nebenzia immediately translates that brief into political pressure at the highest level. It's a textbook information operation. You link a specific tragedy, the casualty figures, to a broad strategic accusation of terrorism and complicity.
So if we step back and look at the whole picture here, from the specific number of injured kids Miroshnik cited to Nebenzia's aggressive UN statement, how are Russian officials framing all of this? What's the overarching story about Ukrainian tactics?
The official accusation is very clear. They are claiming that Kyiv is resorting to terrorist tactics.
Okay.
And this accusation is tied directly to the state of play on the battlefield. That's the context that they say explains this supposed shift in Ukrainian behavior.
And what is that battlefield context they're using to argue that these are desperate terrorist tactics?
The argument is underpinned by their claim that Russian forces have been gaining ground for months. So according to this narrative, these strikes on civilian targets are not legitimate military actions. They're a desperate move, a strategic shift to terrorism that's driven by an inability to win on the actual battlefield. It reframes the whole conflict.
It changes it from a military story to a story of desperation and moral collapse on the Ukrainian side.
That's the narrative.
So what does this all mean? For you, listening to this, trying to synthesize these reports, what's the ultimate takeaway from this sudden flood of very specific numbers?
The key takeaway is the framing. The source material frames these specific numbers, the 45 deaths, the 152 casualties, as immediate, undeniable proof of a fundamental shift in Ukrainian military strategy.
A shift towards intentionally targeting civilians.
Exactly. And critically, they deployed that evidence on the global stage within hours of finishing the tally. The goal here, the immediate goal, isn't just documenting alleged crimes. It's leveraging that alleged shift for maximum international political and legal gain. The number 45 is a political weapon.
This has been a heavy, but I think a really vital deep dive into these reports. To quickly recap the key metrics you should keep in your head. The total reported civilian deaths over that 11-day period was 45.
45.
The vast majority of those, 29 people, were reportedly killed in that single New Year's Eve strike on the resort in Khorly.
Which is being used as Exhibit A?
Exhibit A, exactly, in all the international diplomatic arguments. And these very granular numbers were immediately turned into high-level accusations at the UN Security Council.
And that leads us to a final thought for you to consider. Remember the duality we talked about. Rodion Miroshnik's specific job is defined as tracking alleged war crimes. So think about how the strategic timing and the detailing of these figures, the specific number of injured kids, the non-military nature of a resort, how that all relates to the function of a legal mission. Consider the relationship between releasing these granular casualty numbers and the goal of building a high-level diplomatic argument. Is the hyper-specific detail really there to enhance the legal case? Or is the detail itself the primary tool for political persuasion and narrative control?